This is commentary on lesson 132 in the workbook for A Course in Miracles. I loosed the world from all I thought it was. This is a really important lesson in freedom and in our own personal power to change our experience of ourselves and the world around us. Let me go back to a lesson, very early lesson that we had. My meaningless thoughts are showing me a meaningless world. And it says this is the first idea we've had that is related to a major phase of correction process, the reversal of the thinking of the world. It seems as if the world determines what you perceive. Today's idea introduces the concept that your thoughts determine the world you see. Be glad indeed to practice the idea in its initial form, for in this idea is your release made sure. The key to forgiveness lies in it. And so we've learned that we do have the power to change our minds, and our experience has been that when we have done that, especially when we practice forgiveness, that our experience totally changes. And so this lesson is all about having us again find that personal power to change our minds and then change our experience of the world around us. So I loose the world from all I thought it was. What keeps the world in chains but your beliefs? And what can save the world except yourself? Belief is powerful indeed. The thoughts you hold are mighty, and illusions are as strong in their effects as is the truth. A madman thinks the world he sees is real and does not doubt it, nor can he be swayed by questioning his thoughts' effects. It is but when their source is raised to question that the hope of freedom comes to him at last. Yet is salvation easily achieved, for anyone is free to change his mind, and all his thoughts change with it. Now the source of thought has shifted, for to change your mind means you've changed the source of all ideas you think, or ever thought, or yet will think. You free the past from what you thought before, and you free the future from all ancient thoughts of seeking what you do not want to find. And so we see in this practice that it's a holy instant practice where we suspend our preoccupation with the past, and we suspend our anxiety for the future, and we come into this present moment and within our minds where we see that we can change our minds about who we think we are. The present now remains the only time. Here in the present is the world set free. For as you let the past be lifted and release the future from your ancient fears, you find escape and give it to the world. You have enslaved the world with all your fears, your doubts and miseries, your pains and tears, and all your sorrows press on it, and keep the world a prisoner to your beliefs. Death strikes it everywhere because you hold the bitter thoughts of death within your mind. So these thoughts of misery and death, these are all thoughts that are rooted in this idea that we're a body. And we've been learning to instruct ourselves in our practices that we're not bodies, that we're mind, that we're spirit, that we're that love. The world is nothing in itself. Your mind must give it meaning, and what you behold upon it are your wishes, acted out so you can look on them and think them real. Perhaps you think you did not make the world, but came unwillingly to what was what was made already, hardly waiting for your thoughts to give it meaning. Yet in truth you found exactly what you looked for when you came. There is no world apart from what you wish, and herein lies your ultimate release. Change but your mind on what you want to see, and all the world must change accordingly. So this is reflective also of the Course's first principle of miracles, that there's no order of difficulty in miracles. There's no difficulty in changing anything because it's a function of changing our minds about who we are. So ideas leave not their source. This central theme is often stated in the text and must be borne in mind if you would understand the lesson for today. It is not pride which tells you that you made the world you see and that it changes as you change your mind, but it is pride that argues you've come into a world quite separate from yourself, impervious to what you think, and quite apart from what you chance to think it is. There is no world. This is the central thought the Course attempts to teach. Not everyone is ready to accept it, and each one must go as far as he can to let himself be led along the road to truth. He will return and go still farther, or perhaps step back a while and then return again. But healing is the gift of those who are prepared to learn there is no world and can accept the lesson now. Their readiness will bring the lesson to them in some form they can understand and recognize. Some see it suddenly on the point of death and rise to teach it. Others find it in the experience that is not of this world, which shows them that the world does not exist because what they behold must be the truth, and yet it clearly contradicts the world. And some will find it in this course and in the exercises we do today. Today's idea is true because the world does not exist, and if it is indeed your own imagining, then you can loose it from all the things you ever thought it was by merely changing all the thoughts that gave it these appearances. The sick are healed as you let go all thoughts of sickness, and the dead arise when you let thoughts of life replace all thoughts you ever held of death. A lesson earlier repeated once a lesson earlier repeated once must now be stressed again, for it contains the firm foundation for today's idea. You are as God created you. There is no place where you can suffer, and no time that can bring change to your eternal state. How can a world of time and place exist if you remain as God created you? So that's the idea of I am as God created us, or I am as God created me, is timeless. It's outside of time. Our creation was just what always is, right? So if I'm as God if I remain as God created me, then I'm not in time and I'm not in space or place. What is the lesson for today except another way of saying that to know yourself is the salvation of the world? To free the world from every kind of pain is but to change your mind about yourself. There is no world apart from your ideas, because ideas leave not their source, and you maintain the world within your mind in thought. Yet if you are as God created you, you cannot think apart from him, nor make what does not share his timelessness and love. Are these inherent in the world you see? Does it create like him? Unless it does, it is not real and cannot be at all. If you are real, the world you see is false, for God's creation is unlike the world in every way. And as it was his thought by which you were created, so it is your thoughts which made it and must set it free, that you may know the thoughts you share with God. Release the world. Your real creations wait for this release to give you fatherhood, not of illusions, but as God in truth. God shares his fatherhood with you who are his son, for he makes no distinctions in what is himself and what is still himself. What he creates is not apart from him, and nowhere does the Father end, and the Son begin as something separate from him. And so this is this idea that we were created as creators, and so we're co-creators with God. That is our true function. That is our true nature. We are creators. There is no world because it is a thought apart from God and made to separate the Father and the Son, break away a part of God himself, and thus destroy his wholeness. Can a world which comes from this idea be real? Can it be anywhere? Deny illusions, but accept the truth. Deny you are a shadow briefly laid upon a dying world. Release your mind, and you will look upon a world released. Today our purpose is to free the world from all the idle thoughts we ever held about it and about all living things we see upon it. They cannot be there, no more can we, for we are in the home our Father set for us along with him, and we who are as he created us would loose the world this day from every one of our illusions that we may be free. So here's the longer practice periods, of which we're going to do 2 for 15 minutes each. And so we begin them with saying, I who remain as God created me would loose the world from all I thought it was. For I am real because the world is not, and I would know my own reality. And then merely rest, alert, but with no strain, and let your mind in quietness be changed so that the world is freed along with you. So again, this reinforces this idea that we need to have faith in ourselves and faith in our minds, that if we put these ideas in our minds, the part of our mind that's true will recognize these ideas. So we can put them in there and just rest and alert with no strain and let our mind in this quiet state be changed so that the world can be freed along with us. You need not realize that healing comes to many brothers far across the world, as well to those ones you see nearby as you send out these thoughts to bless the world. But you will sense your own release, although you may not fully understand as yet that you could never be released alone. So that's the longer practice period. And in this last paragraph, he's reminding us that since we are that one self and everything that surrounds us is that one self, is that this benefit is not just for us. The benefit will be for everyone. They may not be ready to accept it, but once we put this idea out there, then it's there for others to share. All right, so that's the longer practice periods, twice for 15 minutes. And then throughout the day, increase the freedom sent through your ideas to all the world and say whenever you are tempted to deny the power of your simple change of mind, I loose the world from all I thought it was and choose my own reality instead. Okay, so this is what the Course calls a response to temptation. So if at any point through the day our true self is at peace, it's in joy, it's feeling and experiencing the love, and if we're not experiencing that, then that's a time to practice. And in that practice we can stop and say, I loose the world from all I thought it was and I choose my own reality instead. All right, so that's it for today. Thank you very much.